Hi, this is Mary Cachapalia, and you're at SNG Now. I got something in the mail from Thomas Cazzola, a Tree of Life pennant. He says, I wrap semi-precious stones with wire. It's currently one of my hobbies. I made this one for you. Thanks for all the work you do. So let me show it to you. Okay, let me take it out of here. Isn't that beautiful? So I want to thank you very much, Mr. Cazzola, for the beautiful pendant. Let's see what else we did this week.
All right, we're back to Big Steve after seeing the beautiful Mary start our show off for a change, which is always lovely. But first, I want to thank Thomas for sending her the beautiful gift that was so thoughtful, and we so much appreciate it, and I appreciate it, and you're very, very talented. It's beautiful. Thank you so much. So, welcome back to another edition of SNG Now. You know the routine. There's the link. You need to go visit our Patreon page because that's where most of our activity is. Now, there's a lot of material there that is public. You don't have to pay to see it, but the real fun, in-depth stuff that teaches you how we do things here at SNG, from model making to special effects to filmmaking to costumes to props to miniatures. I think that's the same category as model making, but you get the idea. We cover all that ground, and we have articles and we have in-depth episodes that you, as someone paying as little as $3 a month, 10 cents a day, can have access to. And we're having new stuff all the time. Now, I know I've been talking about Laser Blast and the fact that we're going to recreate the gun, the pendant, which is going to be one of our giveaways down the road, and the makeup and kind of recreating all that stuff. But we're going to start with the gun, and we're going to try to do it this week, but we've just literally today doing the first render of our film, which means as much as I've cried wolf, it really is done. So we're going to render it off. We have screenings planned. We have dates for them. So now that that's behind me for now, because there's going to be another episode, we're going to start the Laser Blast gun next week. And I'm going to take you to the history of it and take you to the history of the film, too, and what it was like to work on it. And eventually, we'll have Neill and Paul Gentry and myself all together on camera. V's going to make me up. It's going to be fun. But we start with the gun, and I know you've all been waiting for that. So we will start the beginnings of it next week, and that'll be one of our special in-depth episodes that if you're a subscriber, you'll be able to watch it be built the way I built it back 40 years ago. So let me show you some of the things back here that we've been working on. Of course, you do know we've been working on Discovery, which needs to be painted and the mount made to put it on the wall. And painting meaning that you're going to weather it and make it look like it did in the film. And that's what's left to be done in that. But up to this point, we have 8 episodes in depth showing you how I built this model and how I created the entire interior using Elliott Brown's beautiful photo etch parts. Here I've been building this radio-controlled Sea-View. It's coming along quite well, and of course it's got rudder and elevator and propulsion, and these are the sailplanes which function, and these are the bow planes which will also function, which they didn't do in the show. But this is a radio-controlled submarine. In order for it to function well, it actually needs these. And I put all the lighting in. It's got a switch even. And so all the lighting is in. It all has to be finalized. I have not soldered the main connections yet, which is why it's blinking. Let's see if I can get this all together without shorting everything out. And that should be something that we all recognize as the Sea-View. What I have left to do, of course, is to install this watertight compartment, which has the ballast system in it, the servos, the propulsion, and all of this is watertight and sealed, and this gas pushes water out. You open a valve here, it lets water back in. This is how it goes up and down. You'll be able to see all of this in the in-depth video because very shortly, probably within a week, we're going to fill that tank up with water and we're going to test it in there. This is where I balance the sub, get it to dive level and come up again, and we check all the systems and make sure there's no leaks. Now, if you look at the lighting, this was a lighting kit that came with it. You see we have the manas under there. I don't have the lenses in yet until we paint it. The headlights, if you look in, there's a bit of the interior and it's lit up inside the windows there. And we, of course, have the tail lights, the famous Cadillac tail lights. And one of the lights that was missing from the kit that they didn't have was this little nav light here. And so I put one in using one of Elliot's tiny little LEDs that he sent me. And eventually there's a clear part that goes over the top of that. So this is coming along really well. And you can learn by watching this in-depth several-part show on the building of this, how we make a plastic model kit become an actual functioning diving and sailing submarine. One of my favorite things to do. If we go upstairs, I will show you the glider I've been working on, and this is a personal project, but as many of you know, I love model airplanes, and I have lots of them, but I have taken up building them out of wood and from scratch again, which I haven't done because of the advent of foam planes, which are they're really cool. This has lights and everything. I mean, this is really an amazing plane, but there's nothing like a nice wooden built plane or one made out of fiberglass and you make molds. So upstairs here, I'm working on a 100-inch wingspan Aquila glider that was first designed back in 1978 by Airtronics Corporation. It is a glider that does not have power. It flies on the slope and the lift from a slope. Come upstairs and see. So here's the Aquila. Since this was not made from a kit, it was made from plans, and every single part I cut personally and shaped to build all of this, and it's entirely balsa. This is a blue foam plug that eventually will be shaped, a mold will be made of it, and then it'll be fiberglassed, and the mold made off the fiberglass piece, so it's all smooth and it has the window detail, and that'll get vacuum formed. Inside, we've got 2 servos. We have 2 servos in the wing, which are for the speed brakes. And if I can find the battery, I'll demonstrate how this all works and demonstrate some of the stuff that's working. This fuselage has yet to be rounded, sanded round, and blended and shaped really well. Once that's done, the whole thing gets fiberglassed with epoxy resin and has a real high gloss white paint job on it. The rest of it gets covered with monocoat or ultracoat in my case, which is a vinyl covering you put on, you shrink on, and it's just beautiful material. So here I've got the radio hooked up, and you can see I've got, this is the full flying stabilizer, and then we got our rudder here, and these are the brakes. And I can put them at any point I want to slow it down or speed it up. And this really helps slow the plane down, because after you come off the lift of a slope and come around behind you, they pick up a lot of speed, and you can control the landing much better this way. So that's that project, and I'm very excited about it because I haven't built anything completely scratch built out of wood in a very, very long time. And really, in model aviation, this is still the best way to go. I don't need no stinking printers. I don't need a laser cutter. I don't need to do this on a computer. People have been building airplanes for years this way. And the thing about it is, it's so satisfying to build something in wood by hand. So, as if that wasn't enough, I ordered a short kit of this plane called the Sinbad, which was designed in the 40s, and it was originally a free flight glider. This guy who builds these plans and blew up the plans of the old original glider I found on eBay, and he makes a short kit. And in this case, yes, the computer cut these parts. So I wanted to talk about what Mary and I did yesterday, and we went to the Nerdist Network in Burbank, and were interviewed on one of their podcast shows called Bizarre States with Jessica and Bowser. It's a very popular podcast that now has become a video cast. And they interviewed me about an experience I had when I went to a UFO convention in San Diego at the Coronado Hotel back in '94, I think it was. And they asked me to come and speak on the show about an event that occurred in 1994 called the Coronado which is a book where we all went to a UFO conference at the Coronado. 9 of us that were from the Close Encounters Research Organization with Yvonne Smith, who have these experiences, had a major event occur that night with all of us, of an interaction, and they wanted me to talk about that. And they also talked to me about my career and working in film. And it was a great interview. They were very, very educated on the subject matter. I was really quite shocked. This is the first time all the years that I've been interviewed by the media about my experiences, what I call the visitors, not UFOs or alien abduction or any of that stuff, because we really don't know. But something's there. Sorry, had to slip that in. But they were very, very educated about it and very interested in it. So we had a very good conversation about the whole subject matter, an intelligent one, not one that dealt with tinfoil hats and people who took trips to Venus. It was very, very refreshing. And they even had my own parking spot laid out for me when I got there with my name on the wall and the whole bit. So they were really a class act, and I really enjoyed working with them. They're going to have me back to talk further about my film and some other experiences I have. And they've even asked me to bring along Whitley Strieber, so I got to call him to find out if he'll want to do that too. I'm sure he will. So that was really a very cool thing to do. So, and if you're not familiar with the Nerdist, ask Hal. It's thenerdist.com, and that's Jessica right there. And they do a lot of stuff. They had a very large studio, lots of stages and servers and people working there. It was very, very impressive. So you might want to check them out, because basically they're into everything we're into. They're nerds. They're into sci-fi, horror, toys, props, and things that have to do with things that go bump in the night. So that was terrific. I also want to remind you the fact that Mary has started a podcast for SNG that she's hosting and I'm co-hosting. And she has done a few already that were done in the car while we were driving. And she did one yesterday after we got back from the interview. And if you want to start subscribing and listening to our podcast, you can go to our Patreon site and sign up for that too. And we hope that you will listen to them, because a lot of them are going to start being done here in the studio with real mics and real mixers and the whole bit. And we're going to cover so many different subject matters, both within this field of interest and others. So from art to special effects to movies to sewing. I mean, Mary's going to cover a lot of different venues. So please be sure to check that out, because it's going to be a new thing for us. Anyway, as always, thank you a whole bunch for joining us, for supporting us, and we love you a whole bunch.